That's a great point. Mark Evans II, Arkansas Pine-Bluff Offensive Lineman, joins us now on 365 Sports. And Mark, I spoke with someone that knows you on staff, and some great stories about you when you arrived at Arkansas Pine-Bluff. But first of all, how are you enjoying right now with all of what has to be a whirlwind leading up to the Combine?
I'm really enjoying it right now. It's all new for me because, I never really experienced nothing like this before. So just being able to experience this because, I didn't really get highly recruited out of college. So it's kind of like, I'm getting that period of time that I missed back then. So I'm kind of getting it right now. So I'm kind of enjoying it.
What is it like when people who, you're almost a name on the list to a lot of guys, right? All right, let's see. Mark Evans, Arkansas Pine Bluff. All right, kid, go. And then they go, oh, why do we know about Mark Evans from Arkansas Pine Bluff? What's that feeling like when you show them what you can do?
That feeling like that is great because I feel like a lot of people doubt me because, depending on my size, also, the school I went to and stuff like that. So a lot of people look at me, they really don't expect a lot. So, when I'm able to go out there and show them like I really do and, able to earn their respect, kind of like, yeah, I told you so. Like, all you had to do is just believe. So, it's a great feeling, see me when, kind of change their perspectives on me.
Do you remember this? I got a couple of stories about you when you arrived on campus. Cameo Stokes, and you know Cameo, great.
I know Cameo real well.
He loves you. He said that when you first arrived on campus, you walked around in a Texas T-shirt, like a shirt that was the UT logo on it, and yet you're playing for Arkansas Pine Bluff. You're not the only college player that has ever done that before, but his conversation to you was, hey, you're one of us now. You need to be proud of where you're playing college football. How much do you remember that story?
I remember that story, but I think he kind of got it wrong. It was the Oklahoma, kind of Oklahoma like throwback, like one of them throwback shirts. It was like one of their throwback logos with the cowboy and all that. So I kind of had that one on. I had it on because the stock it looked good what I had on that day. So that's kind of why I wear it. So, it really wasn't me like ripping Oklahoma, gold Cowboys like I just like the way it looked. So I put it on. He was like, he was rep the school and stuff like that. So I remember that conversation though, sir.
How much does Teron Armstead help you, a former player at Pine Bluff who's in the NFL, as far as maybe giving you some notice and heads up on what to expect?
He's helped me a lot in this process. I'm able to call him. I got his number and everything. I've been to his house and stuff like that. So I'm able to hit him up or whenever I want to. So if I got a question in my mind, some kind of bothers me, I'm able to text him, call him. He's able to give me insight. So it's great having the person that went through this same process from your school, plays the same exact position and stuff like that. So to be able to talk to him has been a great outlet, and he's been a great beacon of hope for me as well.
You play at an HBCU, and we've seen lately, kind of a resurgence in players going there, people wanting to build those athletic programs back up. How much do you wear that as a badge of honor now to be an NFL draft prospect from an HBCU to even open up even more opportunity for guys not only from Arkansas Pine Bluff, but from all of the schools?
It's an honor to me, honestly, because I'm able to just go out there and put on for HBCUs and prove that, that we have players that are worthy of, making it to the next level as well. So, as far as, just having people coming after me and moving on to the next level and looking up to me, it's kind of like I got my younger brother. He plays at HBCU. He goes to Fairfield University. So, to have him looking up to me and, to actually be out here showing him that this can be done from, HBCU school. It don't matter what school you go to. It's kind of like, it's a big thing for me, honestly. So just to be able to tell people and prove people, it don't matter where you go to school at. If you can play, they're going to find you.
Well, and that's something I think Cameo was talking about, that if you're good, they will find you. That's the case even in high school when you were at C.E. King, which, of course, has produced some college football and talent into the future. When did you know maybe that you were better than just a good college football player?
It kind of, I don't even remember. I know it kind of struck me like it probably happened when I was in college. I was kind of doing stuff. I was just trying to be consistent and stuff like that. So, with me being the person I am, I never just really paid it on mine. It was just me being, wanting to be great and be the best person for myself. So, I never really just sit back and compare myself to other people. I was always just wanting to be the best me I can be. And honestly, that kind of turned out to me being, one of the top offensive linemen in the nation. So.
And by the way, Mark was up for the Willie Roaf Award, and everyone understands the greatness of Willie Roaf and what he also ended up being, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. How much do your nieces mean to you?
My nieces and nephews mean the world to me, man. Knowing I got them looking up to me, I'm trying to reason me and my brother are the reason my nephew wants to play football as well. So, just to be able to hear him talking, how he talked about his uncles saying he want to be just like uncles and all that, that's a great thing to have. My nieces and they all mean the world to me, so I know I got all of them looking up to me. I'm kind of a father figure in their life, so, I just want to do the best I can to provide for them.
What have scouts told you, if much? What, as far as your strength, your hands, your quick feet, what have they kind of said, or what have you learned?
A lot of scouts tell me that I'll be playing center most likely, coming from left tackle, that's kind of a big, transition. But a lot of scouts tell me they like my athleticism as well. They say I'm smart as well. My football instincts are very keen, so, But athleticism, the way I move is a big thing, that's kind of going around what I keep praying when I'm talking to scouts.
I was just reading an article online about you. Your senior year of high school, you lost your home because of Hurricane Harvey.
Yes, sir.
That had to be unbelievably difficult, and it was just a terrible event. How'd you get through all that, and how much stronger are you and your family on the back end of what you've learned coming through that experience?
After going through that, man, I definitely feel way much stronger. Getting through that I really was relying on my family a lot. It was always just all of us, just kind of be a tight knit, just relying on each other and everything. So, being in that one bedroom, wasn't no pirates. We just always around each other, just talking to each other and all that. Just trying, make sure we was, crush for each other and leaning on each other as well. So, I was just kind of feeding on my mama. I was just trying to say something for my younger brother and my sister as well. I didn't kind of want to be the one that was looking down. Like that, because I had them looking at me too as well. So I just want to be the one that showed everybody that it's gonna be all right. That having that mindset, it could always be worse. That good's gonna come. Having faith in the Lord and all that really was what got us through that whole process as a whole.
By the way, I mentioned earlier Armstead is Turin Armstrong, who's a former Pine-Bluff star who's now in the NFL. Where did you get the nickname All-American?
All-American. Cameo called. I remember Cameo talking to me when I first got on campus. I'm walking around. I'm just, happy to get, off from the school. I didn't have them off. So, I'm walking around Pine-Bluff. I ain't care if it was, the worst school in the world. I was going to go. That was school that looked out to me, reached out to me. So, Cameo was the one that was like, you're going to be All-American one day. I'm just like 18. I'm like, man, what this dude talking about? He didn't know what he's talking about. So I'm just walking around, just really enjoying it. But, it kind of always stuck with me. So, when I got my first All-American accolade, he came back to me, and he always tells me every time I get one, he was like, yeah, I told you you're going to be All-American one day. So, that's kind of what this guy gave me a nickname. Cameo really the only one that called me that, and a couple guys on the team called me that as well. But, that's kind of how the name originated from.
What was your Shrine Bowl experience like, being around all those top players, all those guys fighting for the same spots that you're going to be fighting for and continue fighting for? But what was that kind of experience to be in an all-star setting with a bunch of people?
That experience is really fun. I got the chance to, make connection and relationship with people from all across the school, all across the, the nation, top players as well. So, just to be out there, being an event like that was like, something that was like totally cool, seeing different types of people walking around, all the scouts that was around the event was just amazing. So, just to be able to get in that establishment, be in an atmosphere like that was just crazy. It was just like, I don't know, it was just kind of like a whirlwind, it's kind of everything happened so fast, just being able to get adjusted to the schedule and all that was just really fun, It was a great experience. Eric Galco did a good job of, setting everything up and having a great week in Vegas.
Did you feel like there was any, did you feel like you were taking much of because obviously Pine Bluff's not the biggest school in the world, but, there's people from all over the country. Did you feel like there was really that much of a separation talent-wise or skill-wise from what you were accustomed to playing?
I really don't feel like it's that much. Oh, my bad. I ain't mean
No, go ahead.
I really don't feel like it's that much of a difference in the players. I feel like I didn't play better players in the SWAC. It's players, all over the world. I just feel like, you got the stigma that small school HBCU you don't have good players like that. So, I kind of just feel like, that's kind of wrong. So, people around taking the time and they kind of just, downplaying, your level of competition and all that. But really, it's like, I really didn't have no trouble really adjusting to. I just had a little trouble adjusting to the interior, like moving to the inside. But, I feel like I kind of handled that well. And I ended the week great, with a good game.
Had you ever snapped the ball before?
Not in the game, not in the live setting like that at all. I never snapped the ball in the practice or nothing like that. So, I was just kind of getting out there and just trying to show what I can do.
But one of the traits you have aren't your hands, and you think a guy your size, big, strong, quick feet, obviously playing tackle, but don't you have, like, extremely strong grip in hands?
Yes, sir, most definitely. I think I got bigger hands for somebody my size. I know scouts tell me that all the time. So, be able to just latch on somebody. And when I latch on to them, I'm not letting go. So, it's kind of like my hands get on you, you done. The whole fight over with.
Have you ever worked like on a car engine or something like that with
No, sir.
like you could just twist it a nut without without a wrench?
No, I never did nothing like that before, but I probably could twist the nut, but it probably wouldn't be too tight. It'd probably be just tight enough to sit there, have to come back, double back with a wrench or something like that.
All right, so let's make it more real world. If I had a jar that I could not open, like if I handed it to you, are you talking like that?
Yeah, I'd probably be able to open it like nothing. I wouldn't want to try to embarrass him like that, so I might, make it look a little hard. But I would be able to.
Oh, I'm glad you told me
that.
that. The other day I was trying to open up a bottle of queso dip. My God, I had to wet like a towel and twist it, and it took everything I had. I should have just brought it to you.
Oh yeah, man, you should have.
Well, you're also 40 years older and not going to the NFL. So there's a little bit of a difference. What was that like to get the invite to the combine? Was that something that you had dreamed about or thought much about? I mean, obviously you think about it when you're in the process, but was that a dream come true in some ways?
Yes, sir. In a way, because I remember I was just talking about this with my brother. We was working out at the field over this past summer at CE King Field. Shout out to the Panthers. So we was working out there. We just talking about it. We sit down. He kind of laid everything out for me. I'm sitting there just kind of, just talking about the whole thing as a whole and all that. He just sat there and told me, you're going to play good your last year. You're going to get an invite to one of these games. You don't get an invite to the combine, but you got to go out there and kill the combine. You're going to get drafted. Everything he was saying kind of simply came true. So, when I was able to get it, because I was kind of on the cusp, I was like, I didn't know because I didn't receive the email or nothing like that. So when I got the actual confirmation that I had made it, I was just like, wow, I was just kind of relief in the dream come true as well. There's nothing I have to worry about, but I was ready to go out there, and show the world what I can do.
Well, we had somebody on the chat room. We're on YouTube, and we've got an audience from coast to coast. And somebody on the chat room, Japhus, mentioned that you were a star in the SWAC, and that you were the one who did a great job pass blocking some of the best defensive or pass rushers among the HBCUs that you played. Your thoughts about this? Somebody watching our show that knew you.
That's amazing. Shout out to whoever just gave me that comment. I really appreciate that because, being an offensive lineman in the SWAC as well, it's kind of like, ain't nobody really checking for you. You're not a quarterback or a running back or one of them starter defensive ends like you mentioned. So, notice somebody out there watching my game and really appreciate it is amazing. So, I really just appreciate whoever gave me that comment. Thank you so much.
You seem to be a really happy young man. Have you always been that way?
Yes, sir. For the most part, I've been through a lot my whole life. Throughout the entirety of my life. So, I've just been able to just kind of keep that bright side, look forward to the bright side in life, because I've been through, more than probably your average 23-year-old have been through. So, just to be able to just kind of keep that positive outlook on life, just kind of keep me happy. It's a blessing to me wake up every day and do what I'm doing. A lot of people want to be in my shoes. So, I just take every day as it is and just appreciate it.
So, Japhus Cavill was the man that I love watching him play against some of the better-ranked defensive ends and pass rushers. He loved the fact you're on the show with us as well. So, how many interviews have you done with either teams, and I know the Combine will be a battering ram of that, and how much of being on this show or other shows as you move on will be important to you as you develop and be in front of the media?
I've had to be honest, I have had a ton of interviews with scouts since his last fall camp. I probably talked to almost all the NFL teams that it came through there. Probably every team came through there, but maybe like one or two, honestly. And I could be wrong. They probably all didn't came through there. So, I was able to sit down and talk to all of them. Coming from a smaller school, I was kind of the only one they were scouting. So, I was able to get, critical, prep in that area, that situation, just be able to, I know how to talk to scouts, getting their insights of what they think about me, also asking, how I could have did better in certain interviews and answer certain questions, big help as well. Because, when I got back to the Shrine Bowl, it was kind of like, I was seeing the same stuff that I was seeing throughout the year. So I was able to get, a lot of good practice, interviewing and all that type of stuff. So, that's kind of a big help to help me out in that area. And, just being on these shows, it's a great way to, develop, media training and all that, knowing what to say, knowing what not to say, knowing how to answer questions and all that. So, being on this show has been great help. It's been great, talking to you all so far. So, I've been very happy to be on this show. So, it's kind of thank you for helping me out with the media training and all that. But, this show really helped me out more than you even can know.
Every time you do another one, you just learn a little bit more. You've done a great job. Love your passion. You can tell your personality. I've heard you're a very humble but quiet leader. But when you're on the football field, That's when you do your talking. But you're also involved in one thing about you is the community and being a part of helping and teaching and spending time with kids in the community. How much has that meant to you?
That's been a lot to me because, all the kids are, that's the next generation. So, later down the line, they can be the next future lawyers, doctors, and whatnot. So, being able to, just kind of be accustomed, learning up, being able to somebody they can lean on, it's been a great opportunity, Pine-Bluff area is kind of like, it's a low-income area, it's not, the best area in the city or nothing like that. So, being able to, be around there, go around to the schools, talk to the kids, read to the kids, stuff like that, it's kind of been great. So, I remember in school, when, we had Donuts for Dad, stuff like that, I never had anybody coming there for me. So, I just always, said, I wanted to be the one that was coming there for kids and volunteering for kids, stuff like that. So, that's kind of what led to me on that about the community and all like that,
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I honestly just, love kids. So, that's kind of just something that, I enjoy helping. I enjoy helping people.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good luck. Mark Evans II from Pine-Bluff, Arkansas, Pine-Bluff Offensive Lineman. Based on what he said, it looks like he could project to a center. 6'4", about 295, big hands. And just love the just amazing personality, and great to have him on again. Thanks to Lauren Birchfield in setting these up for us, and we'll have many more